Hello everyone, in this video I will teach you a very important topic, that is macroeconomics, and in this video I will cover the concepts of macroeconomics such as introduction to macroeconomics, scope of macroeconomics and significance of macroeconomics. So students, let's start with the first topic of this video, that is introduction to macroeconomics. So students, as you can see, the term macro in English has its origin in the Greek term macros, which means large. So student, if we talk about macroeconomics, large means we are studying the economy as a whole. In simple words, beta, you can say macroeconomy is the branch of economics that studies the behavior and the performance of an economy as a whole, or you can say such that of a country or a globe. Okay students, thus macroeconomics is defined as the branch of economics which studies economic issues or economic problem at the level of an economy as a whole. So students, macroeconomics help us to study how an overall economy operate on large scale basis. Look student, it is completely different from microeconomics, which only concentrate more on individuals and their economic decisions. But here macroeconomics is all about concentrating on the aggregate demands, aggregate changes in the economy such as unemployment, growth rate, GDP, inflation, etc. Is that clear? So student, here it studies such economic questions that are concerned with the welfare of all the residents. We are not talking about an individual, a producer or a firm or an industry or a market. We are talking about the whole of the country. So these questions are like, as I already told you, regarding the employment of the residents, the growth of the output in the economy, and the problem of price rise and the problem of depression and so on. Moreover students, macroeconomics helps us to study how the government can improve the state of our economy of a country. Student, in macroeconomics we also study what the role a government is playing in improving the country's economy. Okay, so student, I hope the concept of macroeconomics is clear to you. With this we will move on to our next topic of this video, that is scope of macroeconomics. So student, when we talk about the scope means the field of study or the area of study. So student, macroeconomics analysis broadly focuses on national income, unemployment and the inflation. So student, one by one I will teach you the scope of macroeconomics. So first scope of macroeconomics is estimation of national income and related aggregates. So students, macroeconomics basically helps us which factors determine the level of national and income and its related aggregates like GDP and NDP. So student, our next scope of macroeconomics is theory of employment. So student, macroeconomics studies the theory related to employment or unemployment in the economy. So student, it basically helps us to determine what causes fluctuations in level of income, output and employment, and it also helps us to understand how the level of employment is determined. And moreover student, it also helps us to explain the causes of unemployment, and it also helps us to suggest the possible remedies to combat with it. And with this we have next scope of macroeconomics, that is theory of money. So student, how the money is created, how the credit is creation by the commercial bank is an important component of macroeconomics, and it will also help us to know about the role of central bank of a country. And in India we have RBI, and how RBI is regulating the supply of money in the economy. Macroeconomics deals with all this. With this we have another scope of macroeconomics, that is theory of general price level, inflationary and deflationary gap. So student, macroeconomic analysis shows how general price level is determined, and it further explains what causes fluctuations in it. Students, it is important on account of problems created by inflation and deflation. Is that clear? Plus student, another scope of macroeconomics is role of the government or the government budget. So student, macroeconomics studies how the government budget impact the level of economic activity in the country. Next scope of macroeconomics is exchange rate and balance of payment. So student, macroeconomics helps us to determine exchange rate, and the way it is managed in the international money market is an important element of the macroeconomics. So students, basically we can say that macroeconomics focuses on issues such as how an economy function, how it can be managed or regulate so that social welfare is maximized. So students, I hope the scope of macroeconomics is clear to you. With this, we will move on to the last topic of this video, that is significance of macroeconomics. So let's see what are the significance of macroeconomics. So we get the description of the economy. So student, with the help of macroeconomics, we can easily estimate national income, which reveals the nature and level of economic activity in the country or the economy. It also helps us to study unemployment, which reveals the problem of unemployment and how it is going to be handled. Plus student, macroeconomics help us to know about the government budget, how it can be planned. It also reveals the way economy is regulated by the government. Next significance of macroeconomics is roadmap of growth and development. So student, macroeconomics consists of theory of economic growth and development. It also suggests the strategies for accelerating growth and development, means whatever the programs and policies framed by the government of economic growth are drawn by assessing the needs and means of the economy. With this student, we have another significance of macroeconomics, that is economic stability. So student, study of macroeconomics helps us to achieve economic stability. Say how? So it is achieved through appropriate monetary policy, which is pursued or which is regulated by central bank of the country, and another is by fiscal policy, or you can say budgetary policy, which is pursued or regulated by the government. With the help of students monetary and fiscal policy, we can achieve economic stability. Next significance of macroeconomics is balance of payment status. So student, this BOP status of a country helps us to reveal the performance of an economy in relation to rest of the world. So students, balance of payment tells us the performance of our economy in respect of the other economies of the world. Plus student, balance of trade shows us the capacity of our export and compulsion to our import. Is that clear? With this student, we have another significance of macroeconomics, that is problems of poverty and environmental pollution. So student, macroeconomics explains the causes of underdevelopment and poverty, the problems of poverty and the environmental pollution. It is by using macro model that these problems are addressed. With this, we have another significance of macroeconomics, that is policy formulation. So students, informations which we get regarding macroeconomic variables such as aggregate demand, aggregate supply, total consumption and investment expenditure in the economy, and the outputs across different sectors of the economy, and all like this is extremely very useful in formulating the policies of growth and development of the country. So student, these are some of the significance of macroeconomics which helps us to know about the economy in a much wider way. In short student, we can say that the knowledge of macroeconomic variables and the macroeconomic models is extremely very important to understand the performance of the economy, as well as it also helps us to formulate the policies and programs for its growth and development. So student, I hope the concept of macroeconomic is clear to you. Student, if you like my video, please like it, share and subscribe